chairman of jurisprudence. What I do is selection of individuals that have the same, that understands exactly what my philosophical background is and the direction that I want to be able to take the senatorial district, and the direction to take the senatorial district is pretty much predicated on exactly how people in the district feel about certain types of issues. And so you got to get individuals that have the expertise, understand exactly what the vision is, and have the ability to achieve the goals, engage in activity and achieve the goals that you set out for.
May I offer you a larger conference room for privacy? Would that one So what are some characteristics that you believe every leader should possess?
Integrity. And obviously that's part of, you got to have character. You've got to be able to work. You've got to be able to build coalitions in order to get things done. You have to believe in yourself. You've got to be competent in terms of the different areas that you are developing an expertise in terms of policy. And you've got to listen.
So what advice can you give to organizations for developing future leaders?
Well, I think that there are a lot of different models, if you will, that there's a lot of theory that you can always go back and read in terms of leadership. I think there are a lot of different examples, there are case studies, and I think that depending upon what direction you're going in terms of your leadership style, there's certain core principles, obviously, that we've already talked about that all leaders should have, and you've got to make certain that young people get an opportunity to know what they are and then understand exactly what they are, because you can know what the word integrity is, but you've got to be able to practice integrity. Mm-hmm. And it's just like anything else, knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. And so the more practical application that they have and are able to see in terms of the core principles of leadership, the better they'll be in the future as future leaders.
So can you recall the experience in your career that sparked a change in the way you lead your organization currently?
Yes. Probably in the ninth grade. No, it was ninth grade. Probably, yeah, it was ninth grade at John F. Kennedy High School. I was in the ninth grade. And we had to put together the ninth grade trip. We had a ninth grade outing, so to speak. And the then current president decided that he was not going to organize it, and then I had to turn around and take on the responsibility to organize it and make certain we got everybody going in the same direction, because needless to say, there were kind of different opinions about what we should do as ninth graders. Some wanted to go to White Rock here in Dallas. Mm-hmm. Some wanted to go to Six Flags. So there were just different interests in terms of what we needed to do. So I had to be able to bring everybody together, get everybody moving in the same direction, and make certain that everybody paid their money, handle their responsibility, and then make certain that I didn't call it logistics then, but the logistics were carried out in the manner that they needed. Getting out there, going out to White Rock, we ended up going to White Rock, making sure everybody got on the bus, everybody got off the bus, everybody had a good time, and everybody got back on the bus and returned to the campus. So there were different steps that you had to take and you had to think ahead in order to make certain that you kind of anticipated what some of the issues were going to be. And that was the first time I ever had to do that. And that was like in the ninth grade.
So in your experience, what are the most important functions of a leader?
The most setting the direction, determining what the direction should be, number one, and then setting a course to achieve whatever those goals are. Setting a tone for work ethic and making certain that you have people in place that will carry out exactly what the goals and objectives are. I think it's real important that a leader continues to listen and reassess exactly what direction they're taking the organization in. You always got to push the refresh button. You also got to think about exactly, is there a better way to do it? What's the most recent technology? you got to take all that into consideration. And I'm not saying that every time something new comes out, you use that or you discard it. The reality is that you've got to assess whether or not it can assist you in achieving the goals and objectives that you've set for the organization.
So how do you explain job success?
Well, first of all, we got to explain getting the job. And a lot of times, you got to have the skill set, needless to say. And secondly, you've got to be able to have a contact. And those contacts are sometimes fortuitous, and other times they're pretty much just as a result of luck, with being in the right place at the right time. But once you get there, you've got to make the best of that situation. It kind of reminds me of school. I'm a lawyer also, and I never will forget that when I was in law school, I was a law clerk at the Harris County DA's office, which is in Houston. And I had this guy who was, I was in grand jury, and this guy was a lawyer in grand jury who was stuck there, and he couldn't get out. And so he was real frustrated. And so sometimes he would take his frustrations out on me as a law clerk. And what I understood, I said, well, you know what, this reminds me of one of the professors in college that I didn't like. But I recognized I had to go through him in order to get to where I wanted to go, because otherwise, if I'd allowed him to, the way he expressed that frustration to frustrate me, then I would have been out of a clerkship, as opposed to being able to get around him and continue to become a lawyer. So the point I'm making is this. A lot of times, even in employment, you've got to make certain that you recognize that even if you're new in the organization, there may be any ad hoc obstacles that will be put in your place in order to stop you from achieving, going to the next level. And you've got to work through those obstacles. So you've got to be able to do that. And so in an organization, you've got to recognize this, and this is real important, that business is politics, and politics is business.
So from when you started as a leader, how has your style changed over the years?
Proverbs. Get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. I think I'm more wise now. And that wisdom has helped me in good stead over the years. I didn't have anyone to kind of show me how to navigate the maze, because leadership is clearly a maze. And often, you get out on the other side, but you got to still navigate the maze. And so from that standpoint, you have got to make certain that you understand that you will have some negative experiences, but you got to learn from those experiences. And so I've done that over the years that I've been as a state senator. This is like my 20th year, but God, 20 years. And I'm still having fun. I'm a better listener, and I recognize that as a lawyer, I always think that the only way is my way. Well, the reality is not. All of us, I've come to respect other individuals' perspective on different issues, and I will safeguard their right to have a different opinion in terms of looking at the same picture and seeing something totally different. And so I will respect that right and then try to work with them to make certain that not only do I realize my goal, but they realize their goal also.
So what is the biggest challenge facing leaders today?
Transparency. I mean, the reality is that you've heard that buzzword and you will continue to hear it. And today, everything you do is subject to be on the internet, YouTube, Facebook, or something like that. So you've got to be very discerning in terms of the activities that you engage in. You've got to also make certain that people recognize you're what you are because you're what other people perceive you to be, and that's your social self. And so safeguarding exactly how people perceive you as a leader is very important. You can't always control the way the media portrays you, and you don't try to. But what you try to do is those persons that you depend upon, that as an elected official that you are elected to represent, they know you. And so you've got to make certain they continue to know you, and that they know that you are articulating and working on issues that are important.
And what is one behavior or trait that you've seen derail leaders?
Greed. Barbara Jordan It's amazing how things happen. When I first became a state senator, I sat down and met with Barbara Jordan. She said, Royce, you can't be a lawyer and a senator at the same time. Try to figure out what she meant by that. And so, as you mature as a leader, you begin to see different things that happen. And a lot of times individuals think that they own the office as opposed to you being an individual that's in the office. And there's a difference, and you have fiduciary duty. And so from a vantage point, a lot of individuals take advantage of the office by doing things that are inconsistent with the fiduciary duty that they have to the office.
So how do you ignite and encourage communication as a leader?
Well, how do you ignite and encourage communication as a leader? Well, Facebook. I try to use social media as much as possible now. Keep people informed, because and to act. Let me give you an example. A few years ago, one of the initiatives that I have for state government is historically underutilized businesses. That's making certain that minority businesses get an opportunity to participate in procurement opportunities with the state. And so we were debating a bill in finance to increase the ability for historically underutilized disadvantaged businesses to get access. And one of the senators said, well, I was pushing the bill. And one of the senators said, well, Senator, I don't know whether that's a good idea or not. And can we just kind of hold up on it for a minute? I said, okay, fine. We can hold up on it for a minute. And so within 24 hours, I was able to use social media. Actually, it was faxes at that time, and maybe email to get word out across the state. And I said, listen, what I want y'all to do is to call him. Here's his telephone number. I want you to fax him. I want you to email him. I want you to tie up his whole communication system. But the only thing he's hearing is from you on this issue. So, and we were able to get that word out. And that's what ended up happening. So probably out of 10 communications coming into his office through whatever medium, 9 of them were probably associated with that particular issue. Okay? And so we had another hearing a couple of days later. He came back in and said, Senator, I got the word. I understand. So we were able to just so doing those types of things help us to energize people and get them moving in the same direction in terms of an action issue, an action item that need to be addressed.
Well, we know you have to get out of here, and we thank you for your time. My last question is that over the course of time, we've heard people say how, especially in the African American community, we lack leadership, we lack leaders, but yet we are in a position where we have our African American president voted in for the second term. And so, what do you think the African American community needs to do in order to build more leadership?
Well, the reality is that, like you take here today, we're having African American academic bowl. These are third, fourth, fifth, and sixth graders today. We got to make sure the pipeline, that there are individuals in the pipeline. All of us are not going to end up being senators, college presidents, heads of corporations. But we got to make sure we have a pipeline. And we continue to make sure these kids get through the pipeline and by getting the experiences that they need. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.